do their jobs well. You can discern, if you're careful, you know which ones are the people that are doing the newscast and which ones are entertainers. If you're watching Fox, you're watching entertainers, not Fox. There are some people who are... When I worked in Washington, I worked for Fox Broadcasting overall. I worked for one of the, and I have to say that our station of the entire Fox group, I mean above New York, above Chicago, Los Angeles, I think we probably had the highest standards and the highest ethical standard in terms of what we covered. We broke some pretty terrific stories during that 3 years that I was there. I mean, things that really shook a lot of folks up. I mean, and it didn't fit the standard Fox, what we call the Foxification of the news. We worked really hard to avoid it.
What about Bill O'Reilly?
About Bill O'Reilly, well, an entertainer. Bill O'Reilly, interestingly enough, was a reporter here in Denver, Channel 7 years ago, before he went to CBS. But what he does is entertainment. I mean, it uses a news base as fodder, but it is not news. It is entertainment, essentially. It's a conversation. And that's, I don't know that that's all bad as long as you know that's what it is. I mean, if you go into a store and you say, I really want something nutritional, show me the Milk Duds, I mean, that's, or the candy bars, that's probably not going to, you're going to get what you get. You know, you're not going to find the nutrition there. And in fact, in a lot of ways, if you think about it, those things are like, those programs are like Twinkies. They have no nutritional value, and you forget about them after they're gone. You've already consumed that, you're moving on to the next thing. So our job on a given day is to take all of that, and today I'm working, as a matter of fact, so I'll go in this afternoon, we'll have Broncos, we'll have Rockies, we'll have whatever the news of the day is, internationally, nationally. One of the stories we've been following with great interest is to see the issues that are bedeviling, for lack of an appropriate word, our president. President Obama is looking at the Afghanistan situation and trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? He's hearing from folks saying, listen to your generals, send in more troops. He's listening to other groups saying, hey, you know, maybe we should be doing this with drones and maybe take a step back and get our physical presence out of that area a little bit to where we're not, and take care of business as best we can from that step back. In the meantime, the clock's ticking. Lives are being lost. I did a story just last week in which I thought really caught the essence of it. Frankly, the reporter's name slips my mind, but I will tell you that this reporter had a good angle on it. He said, okay, here's what Congress wants for Afghanistan. Here's what the White House is talking about for Afghanistan. Here's what the military is talking about for Afghanistan. How about the Afghans? How about the people of Afghanistan? What do they want? What are they looking for? What do they think is good for them? Wow, what a different story. What a different story. And I can't say that we don't tell that story well for a lack of effort. And many times it is for lack of contact and lack of communication. We are, as a news organization, we are supposed to be pragmatic. We are supposed to be skeptical. We're supposed to be like that old journalist saying, yeah, brown cow, right, this side of it is. We have to think about the beyond and try very hard to get that. But part of that comes through contacts. I'm going to be very honest and very frank with all of you here today and tell you that when I was approached about this award, which I'm very proud of and very thankful that you've invited me today, I went to my news director, and this is before the Najibullah Zazi story. Before. I said to him, this group is honoring me with this particular award. I'm thrilled to go. Do you have any thoughts about it? He was quiet for just a moment. I thought, oh boy, here it comes. He says, that's great. That's great. He says, we don't have contacts in that community. That's great. We need to have somebody we can pick up the phone and call and ask and vet information that we get. You know, are we getting the straight story? Are we getting that context and perspective that we need to be able to do our jobs? He said, that's great. So when the Najibullah Zazi story breaks, I stick my head and he says, I know what you're here to ask me. It's still great. That's what I pray and hope for in this gathering today and beyond this in the days to come, is that there is a conversation that opens up, that there is an opportunity for us to do a better job of giving perspective. I told a story here at the table, and it was one in which it may make you feel not so great for a moment, but hopefully it will ultimately make you feel good after you hear the whole story. We get a contact through our FBI sources. We've been on top of the Zazi story from the very beginning through our sources, and have been at the front of this story. And through those sources, the same sources, we find out there are two guys that are in a white van, and they are traveling from New Jersey to Colorado. And the FBI is keeping an eye on them. They've got to be on the lookout, what they call a BOLO. There's a BOLO alert out for these guys. What's their description? Who are they? Well, they're Muslim guys. And we all looked at each other and said, what? They're Muslim guys. They're Muslim guys in a white van, and they're traveling from New Jersey to Colorado. Should we go with the story? And resoundingly, without question, a half dozen people all said, no, no. That's like what the folks in Atlanta when I worked there years ago used to say. They said, it was arrested for DWB. What's DWB? Driving while black. So what is this? DWM? Driving while Muslim? There is a sensitivity and an awareness of how wrong that is in every newsroom in the country. You need to know that.
All right.
But what we need is to be able to have that contact to where when there is a story, like the Zazi story, when there is something like that we have someone that we can talk to either vet information or to get some context and perspective. And I'll tell you something, we're starting to build that, but I'd like to see that continue. So I'm going to ask you to, beyond the lovely award that I get to take home with me today, I would like for you to take a look at our website, thedenverchannel.com. My email address is right there. It's lowercase Mike_Landess@kmgh.com. If you've got a comment or a thought or something you think we ought to be looking at or something that we need to have a better handle on than you perceive that we do, then I invite you to contact me directly. I thank you again for this award. I thank you so much. Is anybody hungry yet? Yeah. Let's eat.